A miracle cure for your humors. Take this, Calomel.
Feeling poorly, folks? Got the ague? The grippe? A touch of the melancholia? Maybe just feeling full? Don't you worry your little 19th century head, because Dr. Doctorington has got the cure. Forget rest, forget gentle remedies. What you need is a heroic purging. Something to blast those nasty humors right out of you. And the number one, top of the pops, miracle cure-all recommended by the finest physicians from Philadelphia to the frontier? Why, it's Calomel, my friends. Calomel, good old Calomel. A little white powder that promised to fix everything from yellow fever to a stubbed toe. Doctors swore by it. Founding fathers endorsed it. Explorers carried it by the pound. It was in every home medicine chest. There was just one tiny, insignificant, microscopic little detail. Calomel is mercury. Yes, that mercury. Quicksilver. The notoriously toxic heavy metal that drives hatters mad and makes thermometers work. And people were swallowing spoonfuls of it, willingly. How did a potent neurotoxin become America's favorite medicine? Why did doctors think poisoning their patients was good for them? Grab your spittoon, because this is the unbelievable, explosive, and frankly terrifying story of Calomel. What in tarnation is Calomel? Okay, science bit, don't worry, it's quick and painless. Unlike Calomel, Calomel is the common name for Mercurous Chloride. It's a heavy, white, chalky powder, insoluble in water. Crucially, it looks quite harmless, unlike its shiny liquid cousin, elemental mercury. People had known about mercury compounds for centuries, often associating them with the mystical practices of alchemy. Mercury was one of the three prime elements. Its use in medicine dates back centuries too, most famously, or infamously, as that questionable cure for syphilis we might discuss another time. But Calomel itself really hit the big time in the 17th and 18th centuries, becoming a staple of European, and especially later, American medicine. Why? Because it did one thing exceptionally well. It made you purge. Violently. From both ends. Why the purge obsession? To understand the Calomel craze, you gotta understand the medical philosophy dominating the 18th and 19th centuries, heroic medicine. This wasn't about gentle healing. Oh no. Heroic medicine believed that disease was caused by an imbalance, or overexcitement in the body's systems. Often linked to the ancient Greek theory of the four humors: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, black bile. The doctor's job wasn't to gently coax the body back to health. It was to aggressively intervene, to attack the disease with powerful treatments that produced visible, dramatic effects. And what were the most dramatic effects? Bleeding you half to death, bloodletting, and making you purge until you were empty, purging, vomiting, and diarrhea. These weren't side effects, they were the goal. Doctors believed they were expelling the bad humors, the morbid poisons, the very essence of the disease itself. If the patient felt weak and drained afterwards, good. That meant the medicine was working. It was weakening the disease. Doctors competed to see whose purges were more impressive. They needed powerful tools for this heroic fight, and the undisputed heavyweight champion of purging agents, Calomel, it was reliable, potent, and produced undeniable results. And the biggest cheerleader for this aggressive purging and bleeding approach in America was none other than Dr. Benjamin Rush. Yes, that Benjamin Rush, signer of the Declaration of Independence, Surgeon General of the Continental Army, intellectual giant, humanitarian, an absolute fanatic when it came to bloodletting and Calomel. Rush believed almost all diseases stemmed from excessive tension in the blood vessels. His solution? Relax the tension. How? By draining huge amounts of blood. He once bled a yellow fever patient nearly 80% of their total blood volume, and administering massive doses of purgatives, primarily Calomel, often mixed with another harsh laxative called halap. He prescribed Calomel with near religious fervor, sometimes giving patients grams of the stuff. Modern safe exposure limits are in micrograms. His potent Calomel halap pills became legendary, nicknamed Rush's Thunderbolts or Rush's bilious pills, because they hit the system with, well, thunderous and bile-inducing effect. Rush's influence cannot be overstated. He was the most famous doctor in America, a respected patriot, a prolific writer. When Rush said, "Purge him with calomel," doctors across the young nation listened. Calomel became deeply embedded in American medical practice, seen not just as a medicine, but almost as a patriotic duty to cleanse the body politic. Rush's influence extended even to the most famous expedition in American history. Lewis and Clark's journey across the continent, 1804 to 1806. Before setting out, Meriwether Lewis consulted with Dr. Rush in Philadelphia, seeking medical advice for the perilous journey. And what miracle drug did Rush recommend they pack plenty of? You guessed it, calomel. Specifically, about 600 of his infamous Thunderbolt pills, each containing a hefty dose of mercurous chloride. These pills weren't just for extreme emergencies. The expedition's journals show they were used frequently for various ailments encountered along the way. Fevers, colds, general malaise, and because calomel is a powerful laxative, well, let's just say the Corps of Discovery left more than just footprints across America. In fact, this leads to one of the coolest, grossest bits of historical archaeology. Modern researchers have actually been able to track Lewis and Clark's campsites by testing the soil in suspected latrine areas for high levels of mercury. Those Thunderbolts left a literal toxic trail across the continent, detectable over 200 years later. Talk about leaving your mark! Thanks to Rush's influence and the general belief in heroic purging, calomel wasn't just for explorers or desperate yellow fever cases. By the mid-19th century, it was everywhere. It was arguably the most prescribed drug in America. Doctors gave it for fevers? Calomel. Colds and flu? Calomel. Constipation? Obviously calomel. Diarrhea? Believe it or not. Still calomel. Depression, melancholy? Calomel. Teething babies? Oh yes. Calomel was a common ingredient in incredibly popular teething powders given to fussy infants to soothe them. Syphilis? Still used, though less popular than other mercury forms. Basically anything else. When in doubt, calomel it out. It was cheap, readily available, and doctors loved it because it produced results. Even if those results were just violent gastrointestinal distress mistaken for healing. It became a staple in countless patent medicines. Those unregulated cure-alls sold with bombastic advertising. Bottles of liver pills or bilious powders almost always contained a hefty dose of mercurous chloride. People trusted their doctors. They trusted the familiar brand names, and they truly believed that purging the body was the key to health. So they swallowed their mercury, dutifully poisoned themselves and their children, all in the name of wellness. So, what actually happens when you repeatedly ingest a heavy metal poison like calomel? Nothing good. While some mercury might pass through the system during those violent purges, a significant amount gets absorbed. And mercury loves to accumulate in the body, bones, kidneys, brain. The symptoms of chronic mercury poisoning, mercurialism, are horrific. Extreme salivation. This was the classic sign doctors actually looked for as proof calomel was working. Patients would drool uncontrollably, sometimes producing pints of saliva a day. Their mouths would be sore, metallic tasting, charming, tooth loss and gum decay. Mercury attacks the gums and jawbone. Gums would become spongy and bleed. Teeth would loosen and fall out entirely. Rotted jaws were a common consequence. Hatter's shakes. Mercury damages the nervous system, causing uncontrollable muscle tremors, especially in the hands. This is famously associated with felt hat makers who used mercury compounds, but calomel users suffered it too. Neurological and psychological effects. Beyond tremors, chronic mercury poisoning caused irritability, anxiety, depression, memory loss, insomnia, and in severe cases, outright delirium and madness. Patients became shells of their former selves. Kidney damage. The kidneys struggle to filter out the heavy metal, leading to severe damage and potential failure. Skin rashes and discoloration. Skin could develop rashes or a grayish hue. Death. In high doses or with prolonged use, calomel could, and often did, kill. Imagine being sick with, say, the flu, and your doctor prescribes a medicine that makes you vomit and have diarrhea violently, causes you to drool buckets, makes your teeth fall out, gives you the shakes, and messes with your mind. And this was considered good medicine. The cure was often far, far worse than the disease. Abraham Lincoln himself is thought to have suffered from mercury poisoning due to calomel pills he took for melancholy in his younger years, which might explain some of his later mood swings and tremors. So how did this toxic titan finally fall from grace? Slowly, and not without a fight. Several factors contributed to Calomel's decline throughout the latter half of the 19th and early 20th centuries. 1. Rise of gentler medicine. New medical philosophies emerged, challenging the brutal, heroic approach. Doctors started advocating for milder treatments, supporting the body's natural healing rather than attacking it. 2. Germ Theory. Louis Pasteur and Robert Koch's work in the 1860s to 80s revolutionized medicine. Understanding that diseases were caused by specific microorganisms, not bad humors, made the whole purging concept seem increasingly ridiculous. You can't purge away bacteria. This provided a real scientific basis for disease, undermining the theories that propped up calomel. 3. Better alternatives. Safer and more targeted drugs were developed. Aspirin arrived, anesthetics improved, specific treatments for specific diseases started appearing. Doctors no longer needed a single toxic sledgehammer for every problem. 4. Growing awareness of mercury toxicity. While the dangers weren't fully grasped initially, repeated observations of severe side effects, combined with understanding from industrial mercury poisoning, made doctors increasingly wary. Articles questioning calomel's safety started appearing more frequently. 5. Regulation. The Pure Food and Drug Act of 1906 inches, the U.S. began the process of regulating medicines, requiring labeling of ingredients, including mercury, and cracking down on outrageous claims by patent medicine vendors. By the early 20th century, calomel, while still occasionally used, had largely been relegated to the dustbin of dangerous medical history. Its reign as America's favorite cure-all poison was over. The story of calomel is a mind-boggling chapter in medical history. How could something so obviously toxic become the most prescribed drug in a nation, championed by its leading minds? It's a potent reminder of several things. The danger of medical dogma. When theories like heroic medicine become entrenched, it's hard for evidence to break through. The allure of dramatic results. Doctors and patients liked seeing calomel work, mistaking effect for efficacy. The influence of authority. Benjamin Rush's endorsement gave calomel immense credibility. And ultimately, the slow, painful process of scientific progress. It took decades of observation, the rise of entirely new scientific paradigms, and countless poisoned patients before the medical world finally abandoned its toxic darling. It makes you wonder, what widely accepted truths in medicine today might seem as barbaric and nonsensical as calomel to future generations? So, next time you feel unwell, be thankful. Be very thankful. Because whatever the cure is, it almost certainly won't involve swallowing mercury until your teeth fall out. Probably.